So welcome back. So let's start using a common repository for the benefits of our team. So what I'm going to do in the next lessons is going to show you some of the daily changes you will be making to a repository that you can work together two people. So I'm going to make Chuck one of the persons, this is one of the people, and Norris is the other person. Now I'm going to have this on my local machine, but this could just as well be on two different machines that you were working. Wouldn't matter at all, because the common guy here is the common repository, and he is available in the cloud, so everybody can access that guy. If you're Chuck or if you're Norris, doesn't matter, you can always access it. And now Chuck is going to be the guy using the desktop client, so he's going to use our beautiful desktop client, where Norris is more of a nerd and he's going to use the terminal to actually work with the code. That way I'll show you both sides of this. The first thing I want to do is I want to make Chuck, using the client, I want him to actually change a file, send it by pushing. He's going to send the file to a common repository, and then Norris is going to pull that file back to his code so that the two repositories are the same. I'm going to start by showing you that. But before we can even get going, I have to create these two repositories. And again, Chuck is going to do this just using the desktop client, and Norris is going to do it using the terminal. So let's start there. Let's just start out by creating these two. And first we're Chuck. So he is lucky. He has a clone here under the plus sign. He clone and he select the calculator. And then he just pretty much says clone locally. And he wants to put it somewhere. So he's going to put it under work. And here he's just going to create a new folder. Nah, let's just create it directly under work. That's fine. Say OK. And it'll clone it down locally. Let's just give it a second. Here it is. I just want to rename the folder just to let you guys know that it's actually Chuck's folder here. So I'll just rename it to Chuck. There we go. So now we have the first folder called Chuck, meaning that if you look at my drawing, this guy is ready to work with. Great. Now let Norris do the same. So Norris needs to do the exact same thing. Let's just do an ls here and see. There's the Chuck folder. So we're going to stay in here, and I'm going to do a git clone. I'm going to use the URL for the calculator as well, and then I'll do a Norris here. Okay, so now I have two folders, and let me just show you, these are exactly the same. What I'm trying to show you here is just, this could be on two different machines, it wouldn't matter. Chuck is one folder representing the common repository in the cloud, and Norris is another folder representing the common repository in the cloud. But they have different Git folders, they have different history in them. Hope that makes sense. So let's start out by letting Chuck change something. Chuck decides that text number 5 needs to have some changes. So he'll say, hi Norris, I just changed the file and I love it. I'll save this. And how does Chuck actually commit this? Well, first step he has to do, like we've done so many other times. Let's select the new change here. There we go. And now, how did we actually commit this? Well, using the client, it's very, very simple. The desktop client, we just have to write a commit here. Changed file 5. I'll commit this. Boink. And now I have to do a sync. Now, what did I do? Well, as you know, as we've done a lot of times, to actually push things to our local repository, remember before we can save this, there's actually an extra step here to our local repo. That's the local. And here we actually do a commit to actually send the data in there first. And then we can do the push, right? So that was what I did. I did the commit so that I'm ready to actually send it with a push. So that's what I'm doing here using the sync. Behind the scenes, it's sending the information now to the common repository. So let's try and illustrate that. Right now, it's in here. It's actually sending, using this command, it's sending the changes to text number 5 up here. So now this guy has been modified. And now we need to get it into Norris's folder. But before we do that, let's have a look. The sync is done. We don't know what it actually does behind the scenes because we're using the desktop client, so it's kind of hidden for us. Don't worry, I'll do it with Norris in a second. You'll see the difference. So let's open the tool files. Let's first open from Chuck's point of view. In Chuck it says, hi Norris, I just changed the file and I love it. Let's open the same file now from Norris's view, who is the other user. It still says, hi Norris, so the second line is still not there. Where did it go? Very, very simple. We have to first do a pull. So let's have a look at the image again. To get the information from the common repository that Chuck just pushed, he just pushed it up here. to get it down here, Nourish, he has to do a pull. So now we'll do the pull command, but this time we'll do it from a terminal. So Nourish is a nerd, he'll go into the terminal, we'll go into the Nourish folder, and from here we'll do what's called a git pull command. Let's see what happens. It pops up saying there's some changes in file number 5, and if I just open it again, you'll notice that Nourish now has the file as well. And I love it! So now both folders are back in sync. And that's what this is all about. We share information using the push, we pull information to share it with other people. So the common repository is the place where everything is up to date. And the local repositories, well, that's where we keep our changes until they are ready to be shared with other people. That was the first scenario. We'll dig more into this, where we try to turn this around and let Nourish do the push and Chuck do the pull. See you in a second.